Still hunting for a wealthy husband to pay your rent, Clara? My ex-fiancé, Julian, smirked, looking me up and down like I was yesterday's trash. Standing beside him in the marble foyer of Laura, the city's most exclusive private club, his new fiancée giggled, flashing a gaudy diamond ring in my face. Dress code must be slipping if they let beggars in, she sneered, making sure the elite crowd waiting in line heard every word. Julian thought he had finally broken me. He thought that by dumping me, stealing my life savings, and parading his new trophy in front of high society, he had won. He leaned in close, whispering, "Leave before security tosses you into the gutter." I didn't blink. I simply glanced at the hostess behind the velvet rope. The moment she saw my face, her eyes widened in sheer panic, and she instantly grabbed her radio. Welcome to BT Revenge Tales. Subscribe now for the most satisfying stories of ultimate payback. My name is Clara Morgan. At 29, I had already learned the hard way that wolves don't always howl. Sometimes they wear tailored Italian suits and whisper sweet promises. 18 months ago, Julian was the man I planned to marry. We had built a boutique branding agency together, pouring every ounce of sweat and sacrifice into our shared venture. But the moment an early buyout offer came through, Julian showed his true colors. He quietly drained $85,000 from our joint business account to launch his own luxury tech startup. Then, he looked me dead in the eye, told me I had zero ambition, and ended our 3-year relationship with a text message. Now, here he was under the crystal chandeliers of Laura, reeking of entitlement alongside Tiffany, an influencer drenched in cheap perfume and expensive jewelry. I was wearing a simple, unbranded black dress, standing quietly near the velvet rope. To them, I was just a ghost from the past desperately trying to climb into a world far above my reach. The hostess didn't just pick up her radio. She gripped it with white-knuckled intensity, her knuckles turning pale under the amber chandelier lights. "Code gold at the main foyer," she whispered into the mic, her voice trembling with unmistakable urgency. "Repeat, code gold. Immediate escort required." Julian let out a sharp, arrogant bark of laughter. He smoothed the lapels of his designer jacket, clearly assuming the staff was springing into action to clear out an unwelcome nuisance. "See what happens when you wander into places you don't belong, Clara?" Julian smirked, reaching into his pocket and pulling out a crisp $20 bill. He waved it in front of my face like a scrap of meat. "Take this for a cab. At least save yourself the sheer embarrassment of getting thrown onto the pavement by security." Beside him, Tiffany raised her jewel-encrusted phone, recording my face while giggling into the camera lens. "Live footage, guys," she sneered, watching a desperate gold digger get tossed out of Laura in real time. The heavy mahogany double doors burst open with a resounding thud that silenced the entire entryway. Arthur Sterling, the club's legendary general manager, a man known for refusing entry to celebrities and politicians alike, strode into the foyer. Flanking him were 4 senior concierges, their postures rigid and expressions dead serious. Julian puffed out his chest, stepping forward with an exaggerated swagger. He extended a manicured hand, projecting his voice so every wealthy patron waiting in line could hear. "Evening, Mr. Sterling," Julian announced smugly. "I'm Julian Vance. I was just informing your staff that you have unregistered loiterers ruining the exclusive atmosphere out here. You might want to remove her immediately." Sterling didn't even glance at Julian's outstretched hand. He brushed right past him, leaving Julian's arm hanging in dead air like an abandoned branch. Stopping directly in front of my understated black dress, Sterling bowed his head in profound respect. "Good evening, Ms. Morgan," Sterling said, his deep voice carrying across the silent hall. "We were not expecting you unannounced." "Please accept our apologies for the delay, Ms. Morgan," Sterling said smoothly, gesturing to the private elevator. "Your private penthouse suite on the top floor is prepped, and the kitchen staff has already begun your tasting menu." Julian's face went completely blank. His jaw went slack, his manicured hand slowly dropping to his side. "Wait, what?" "Sterling, there's a mistake. She's Clara Morgan. She's nobody. She doesn't even have a basic membership here." Sterling turned around, his eyes turning to ice as he looked Julian over. Mr. Vance, you are addressing Clara Morgan, majority shareholder and founding partner of the Apex Hospitality Trust. She does not need a membership. She owns Laura, along with the 11 sister properties across the country. When Julian stole my $85,000, he thought he destroyed my future. He didn't know I took my branding blueprint to an angel investor group, turned a mid-tier boutique firm into a powerhouse, and quietly purchased this very venue 3 months ago. Julian's smug expression didn't just fade. It crumbled into complete, suffocating horror. I looked directly at Sterling, keeping my voice cool, steady, and loud enough for the gathering crowd to hear every syllable. Mr. Sterling, what is Mr. Vance's current standing with our private club? Sterling snapped his fingers. A concierge instantly stepped forward, unlocking a leather-bound tablet and pulling up the primary membership ledger. Julian Vance submitted a corporate application on probationary terms last Tuesday, Sterling read aloud, his tone clinical and sharp. However, the $50,000 initiation fee was declined twice this morning due to insufficient credit. Furthermore, his corporate account shows multiple delinquent flags across 3 partner banks. Julian's face went from pale to an ashen gray. He began stuttering, tugging at his tight collar. That's an administrative error. My accountant is transferring funds right now. Save your breath, Julian, I said calmly, stepping past the velvet rope. Mr. Sterling, issue an immediate and permanent lifetime ban for Julian Vance and his guest. Revoke access across all 12 properties nationwide, effective right now. Before Julian could stammer out another pathetic excuse, a deep voice cut through the tense foyer from the VIP lounge. Declined corporate fees and defaulted credit, Julian? Julian froze. Out walked Richard Hayes. The billionaire venture capitalist Julian had spent 6 grueling months desperately courting to fund his failing startup. Hayes adjusted his platinum watch, staring at Julian with utter disgust and disappointment. I came here tonight ready to sign a $2 million funding round, Hayes said coldly. But I don't partner with fraudulent grifters who steal from partners and get blacklisted from reputable institutions. The deal is officially dead. Julian lunged forward, pleading frantically. Richard, wait. Please, she's exaggerating. Beside him, Tiffany's fake smile had vanished completely. The realization that Julian was drowned in debt, not the wealthy mogul he claimed to be, hit her like a slap. Without uttering a single word, she yanked the sparkling diamond engagement ring off her finger, hurled it right at Julian's chest, grabbed her designer handbag, and stormed toward the exit. 2 burly security guards flanked Julian, taking him firmly by the arms and marching him out through the double doors into the pouring rain. Stripped of his billionaire illusion, his business funding, and his trophy fiancée, he was left standing alone on the curb with nothing but empty pockets and bruised pride. I turned my back on the entrance, walking into my private penthouse suite overlooking the glittering city skyline. That night, I toasted with my executive team to celebrate our newest multi-million-dollar expansion. Julian thought he could break me when he stole my savings, but he only gave me the fire to build an empire, and true success is always the ultimate revenge. Now, I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my place? Tell me in the comments and share the city or country you're watching from so I can see how far our story reaches. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to BT Revenge Tales for more satisfying payback. Thank you for watching.